The K&N Series delivers some of the best racing NASCAR has to offer.
Oh, here he goes, deep into 3, contact!
K&N Series is awesome. It's just your short track, bump and grind kind of racing.
Jesse Little's gonna win!
The series itself is such a good stepping stone for everybody to come through.
The K&N Series is a grassroots series. It allows newer talents, younger talents, first-time comers, as well as veteran drivers. Plus, you get the exposure to the National Series whenever we run with those guys. It's awesome to see some of the guys and girls that come through the Next program to showcase their talents. It gives those that may not have the opportunity to do it, the opportunity to prove what their worth is. Horsepower, we're looking at probably right around 600. There's a 110 wheelbase, and there's also a 105-inch wheelbase, each of whichever option you choose. There's also a composite body and a steel body version. If you run the steel body, the weight rule is 3225. If you run the composite body, the weight rule is 3150. The height rule, there is, generally speaking, you're around the 52-inch height rule as far as the roof height. Quarter panels are at 35, 36 inches off the ground, and spoiler height's around 6 1/4. And again, that varies depending upon the steel body or the composite body.
So we're gonna talk about this area of the car. I can't show you underneath the hood because this is where we keep all of our secrets. But we're gonna talk about the engine. We run a spec 358 cubic inch engine with a 830 carburetor on it.
I like a shorter, smaller wheel. It's pretty tiny than that of a street car. Makes it a little easier to turn.
One of the other things people notice when they look in here is my shifter's a little different than most people. That's because I like to turn my hand and push it back. When you have a straight up shifter that a lot of people have with the ball on the end, when you're sitting so far away from it like I am, you can actually pull it into second if you're not careful.
My helmet painter is so sick. I send him about 2 helmets a year, and this is probably the sickest one he's ever done for me. Shell Shock, Noah Enos, he hooks me up. I always tell him about what colors I want, but then he always does a sick design. Alpine Star helps me out a bunch with my suits and shoes and helmets and stuff, so he put a big Alpine Star inside of it. This is probably my favorite helmet, and it always keeps me safe in the race car.
Here's our trunk area, which is something that probably most passenger cars don't look like. We have our 22-gallon fuel cell, which is mandated by NASCAR. We can usually run about 70 miles without having to refuel it. And that's something that's probably identical with all these cars.
Because the car is so sweet, bright, and cool looking, my spotter can easily see it from the roof. That's one of the main advantages of this bright paint scheme. One of the brightest in the garage, I believe. And as we move forward on the car, you can see our contingency sponsors for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. Obviously, Mobil 1's on there, Kooks Headers, Sherwin-Williams, Autolite. They all play a really big role in the series, and we also use a lot of their equipment in the shop.
Mobil 1 has always been a part of NASCAR as long as I can remember. It was just like a second word in NASCAR, and it's big all the way across the board.